Mr. Mark.
Mr. Joey.
Welcome to episode 86.
You got it, bucko. We're going to be talking about the closing costs that nobody warned you about.
That's it. We're going through a breakdown of, I think, 8 rounds of hidden costs that come up.
Yes, those sneaky little buggers that come out and eat your wallet. Yeah, we're going to cover them all in this episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're shouting out some people.
We're actually not doing shout outs anymore.
Oh, sorry.
We're doing salutes.
We're saluting some people.
We're saluting Hint Hint, Talk Condo, Mr. Sub.
Mr. Sub, California Sandwiches.
California Sandwiches, and Breddy, the breakfast choice of TikTokers.
Be ready for Breddy.
Oof, enjoy.
Welcome to the Toronto Livings Podcast, a conversation about all things Toronto with a focus on real estate, the culture, and of course, the food.
I'm Mark Savell.
And I'm Joey Virgilio.
And we're realtors with Sage Real Estate, working together as a Toronto Livings team with a focus on helping you buy better, sell higher, and of course, having a little bit of fun along the way. Hello, Joey.
Hello, Mark.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. I feel a little odd because we haven't been naming off which episode we're on when we start our episodes lately.
Like the numeration?
Yeah. We're just running out of, we're losing count at this point.
Okay.
There's just so many of them.
Should we bring it back and like keep it to our old ways?
Yeah. Okay. Why not?
Okay, we're
bringing it up now. 85. 86.
86.
See what I mean? We're losing count. There's too many.
Well, what are we going to call episode 86?
What are we going to call episode 86? We're going to call it The Closing Costs Nobody Warned You About.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Because we're going to warn you about it in this episode.
Yes, we are. Yeah. We're taking an all-encompassing picture of what closing costs you need to worry about, pretty much.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have a general idea. You hear land transfer tax, legal fees, but there's a couple other little hidden ones that it's not going to break the bank. But it's good to know about these things.
100%. You're budgeting. Obviously, this is a big purchase. Yeah. So you want to make sure you're set up properly when the time comes.
Yeah. And since no one else is doing these great podcasts, we're going to handle it on episode 86. Oh, man. Such a missed opportunity. I had some really good. Well, I still have some really good news.
Okay.
Would you like me to share it?
I would love that.
You know how every week we ask for sponsorship?
Yes.
I've secured our first sponsorship.
Oh, get out of here.
Yep. The product that we were supposed to demonstrate did not arrive.
Okay.
Hopefully it arrives next week.
Oh, this is why you were walking in being
this is why I'm like, where's the product? So we are sponsored. We now have a sponsorship. We're not gonna let the cat out of the bag in who this sponsor is, but we're supporting local on this one.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. I know we will.
For what Mark was asking about when he walked in here, I am very excited.
Yes.
For this sponsorship.
Yes. So stay tuned for that. But I want to change something up with our formatting because we always talk about shout outs.
Okay.
No more.
Okay.
We used to salutes.
Okay.
Just sounds better. So this week I want to salute the Talk Condo boys.
I like it.
Roy and Amit. Because they did one heck of a presentation. We had interviewed them a few, maybe 20, 30 episodes back about their platform, talkcondo.com.
Yes. Still a go-to, still a bookmark on my
it's an essential tool for us as realtors. But I got to say, they revamped it. They added a whole bunch of new features. This is now like...
Love it.
The bee's knees.
Love it. I was on showings when that presentation came.
Oh.
Yeah. So I am very, very curious what they've added.
Well, allow me to just kind of tantalize you with some of the new features they have.
Yeah.
You can now search and find out the building heights of buildings in front of you.
Oh.
Because how many times are we in a condo? We're like, oh, but are they going to build something there? And you're like, yeah, maybe. They have all that data.
Oh, really?
So you can now see if you're in a 20-story condo, are they putting a 40-story in front of you? You can search by that. The capabilities that they've created on this website, and
incredible.
They're not paying us. Yeah. I'm just like thoroughly amazed and blown away by how impressive
the detail is
they've gotten on it.
That's a lot of work to put that in.
It surpasses Sigma. Because it pulls up resale buildings too.
Right? Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't think they have prices for resale. They do have prices, very detailed prices for pre-con, and like the ways they display value and what things sold for. It's next level.
I've never checked the resale side of it. It's always been like
no, it doesn't. It doesn't have prices for resale, but for pre-con prices, it's
very, very thorough.
Oh my god, the best in the business.
Yeah,
there's like truly nothing that comes any close to it. So I'm wearing my Talk Condo hat today.
Love it.
I'm gonna give my first salute to the boys at Talk Condo, and you'll never hear me give a shout out again. It's only salutes from this moment forward. Shall we, as we always do? I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here.
No, let's do it.
Okay.
Tell me how your week was.
Well, more breaking news. We're TikTokers.
Yes, we are. We should bring this up.
We're on TikTok. Joey's been on TikTok for a while under the Toronto Livings account, and we've got a very expensive office, as we talked about, and a very expensive podcast studio to pay for. So I'm like, we need to expand in all ways.
Yep.
And TikTok was one of the platforms we weren't really using. So what we're doing now is all the content we get from our podcast, we're posting on there. You're doing some really good property tours.
Yeah, we're going to kickstart that back up.
You're going to want to follow us on Toronto Livings, although probably on every platform we're a part of. But on the TikTok account, you're going to do these tours. I'm doing some like local area stuff. It's really getting fun. And I've never messed with TikTok before.
We're honing in, man. There's synergy happening in this office, I will say.
Yes. Things are firing, which is good.
Yeah.
But how that ties to how was my week and where did I eat?
Let's hear it.
Now that I'm a TikToker, I got to eat at TikTok places, right? So Adriana S. took me to this place called Bready, or Be Ready, as I call it.
Yeah.
I don't know the proper, it's like Aaron.
Aaron? Yeah.
I call it Be Bready. She's like, it's just Bready. But whatever you call it, it is fantastic. So it's in Concord, 15 Connie Crescent, Unit 27, up in Concord.
Yeah.
We went on Sunday. She treated me to a brunch. It was a celebratory brunch. And I didn't know what I was walking into. I'm like, we're going up to Concord to have brunch. Like, we're in brunch capital of Midtown. I know why she took us there.
Yeah.
It is the most TikTokable.
It looked like it.
Oh.
So you're TikTok of Bready. I know this because I saw this.
Yes, I broke my TikTok virginity at Bready. Just like she broke the eggs over the croissant. No, the place was amazing. The vibe in it, like it was a lineup out the door.
Yeah, right.
And it was like when we had that crazy rainstorm.
Yeah.
So everyone was just like outside waiting to get in. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
Service was what it was in a packed place. Not a free table anywhere. Like just rammed to the rafters. Of people.
Right. Yeah.
And everyone was like me, a TikToker. We're all just
everyone's filming everything.
just documenting. I'm just doing my in and out pans and like it just like you feel it. I didn't tell her that I was a TikToker yet.
Oh, this is the initial.
This is how I broke it to her. I'm like, well, since we're here, I better tell you I'm a TikToker now. Go early because, like I said, it's super packed.
Yeah.
I got the scrambled egg and smoked salmon.
Okay.
On a bagel. Fantastic.
Love it.
I love smoked salmon.
Yeah, honestly, believe it or not, this is a cottage meal for me.
Cottage meal.
It's cream cheese bagel, capers and
yeah.
That's
salmon and
100%.
lox, I guess.
Okay.
Lox is apparently salmon.
Yeah, lox and capers and
lox. Yeah,
whatever.
That's the brunch way of calling salmon on a bagel. Someone's probably going to call me out for that.
Yeah. There's something that's being botched here.
Let me tell you what Adriana ate, and then I'm going to clarify something I erroneously said last week that got a lot of comments.
Oh, did it? Okay. What did you say?
Let me get through this. Adriana S. had the croissant Benedict, and it was a butter croissant with poached eggs.
Oh, it looked insane.
That's where I got the money shot, my pan in for my TikTok. And then TikTok's pretty cool because you just push a button and it just does it all for you.
Yeah.
And then it put Justin Bieber's song. I got that yum. You could have given me 3 hours. I wouldn't have been able to put that together. So good. So we got that yum. Be Ready or Bready is amazing. And fun fact, Adam Hijazi from Lisbon Hotel, former guest on the show as well. He's like, dude, I had it downtown. So apparently there's 2 locations.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, there's another one. I believe it's in the path. I'll put it in the show notes. I got to look it up. But if you don't want to go all the way to Concord,
it's good to know. There's one closer by.
Yeah, you can go to the path and get it all there.
Love it.
So,
oh man, that sounds solid. It also looked incredible. That's a trip. Regardless, if you're going to Concord, it's a trip to make.
Yeah, worth it.
Yeah,
worth it all day.
It looked it looked very, very worth it.
Yeah, the scenic ride up Dufferin was beautiful, and we finally got to Concord, Ontario. Oh, it's fantastic. It's really good. Actually, I don't think it was too expensive.
It looks like it would be. So here's the thing about food places that I've realized. Okay. This is my theory behind it all. Okay. You either, as a restaurant, what I've been finding is you're either an Instagram worthy restaurant, but the flavor is not quite there.
Right.
Or the opposite, where it's like, I can't take a picture to promote this because it doesn't look that good, but oh my God, the flavor is all over. It's just banging. Yeah. So this seems to check both boxes.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it passes. Okay. Yeah. So you know the construction pyramid?
Yes.
You either get good price, fast or good quality.
Right.
Okay, this is probably the fastness you don't get, but you get quality and you get good construction. The food is constructed well. Yeah. We had like
built well.
2 big plates that tied me over till dinner. Like we each had a plate each.
Yeah.
It wasn't a BOGO.
Now know where the deals are.
No BOGOs at Bready yet, but 2 plates. We had this like thick, what's that? Oh my God, what's the name of it? Cinnabon. It's like a Cinnabon.
Yes.
With like all that
the swirly
stuff on it. Yeah. 2 coffees, 2 drinks with tip and tax under $50.
Okay.
Not bad.
Okay.
Considering it was like a really well designed place and the food was pretty good.
They got to pay for that. That was a big space.
Yeah.
It looked big.
Oh, it was a big space. Yeah, it's industrial space.
Yeah,
so yeah. Be ready. You I salute you.
Yeah.
Be ready.
There you go.
Okay, you want to hear the outrage this week?
Yeah.
So remember we were talking about historical homes last week?
Yes.
And we're talking about a figure skater and a hockey player.
Yes.
Yeah. I erroneously said that Tessa Virtue was married to Mitch Marner. She is not. That was adulterous and slanderous. Both the figure skating and the Maple Leaf community reached out in my DMs and I heard it all week. I'm like, just don't buy a historical home. I don't really care who she's married to. That was the point. So to correct myself, it's not Mitch Marner. I don't even care his name. I don't even care about his name because he's not married to Tessa Virtue. It is Morgan Riley.
Okay, got you. Cleared.
So people of the internet, sorry. Please.
We'll have to chop this specific moment as a short. That we can
Opus Clip is going to be right on this. I made a mistake. I made a little boo-boo. Please. Sorry. Food from you. Pretty chill week.
Chill week. You know where I went today, though?
Yeah.
Mr. Sub. We're shouting out Mr. Sub.
Keep it Canadian. Elbows up. Right?
Elbows up.
I hate that slogan and don't get it, but hey, elbows up. Support Canadian.
Yeah, I went to Mr. Sub. So that's going to be my shout out this week. Otherwise it was home cooking this week.
That's a lie.
Ish.
I took you to California's yesterday.
But we've already shouted California.
But we already shouted Mr. Sub too.
All right, we'll shut up both.
Also local. Elbows up.
Elbows up.
Supporting local. This is another giggly episode. You put me onto, so I took you to California's, but you...
I can't, yeah, which is surprising. So Mark has never had a chicken cutlet sandwich from there.
Never.
Which is surprising to me. I mean, if you're there, I can see why veal would be. Do you get veal?
Veal and steak. Those are my 2.
Yeah, that's your back and forth.
Yeah.
I almost always is chicken.
Amazing.
That's hometown. That's my nonna right there.
Right there. Yeah. The parm on top. Yeah. Joey had to take a call. He's like, I'm like, what do you want on it? He's like, rapini, parm, sweet mushrooms. The girl's like, so what do you want in the second one? And I froze. I'm like, just load it. Just whatever your options are. I think I spent like $9 in toppings.
Wet it down. It doesn't matter. Listen, I also rapini on those sandwiches that's the icing on the cake.
Yeah,
that is the true icing on the cake.
Keeps it healthy.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get your greens in. Deep greens, iron. I think.
Sure. Whatever you want it to be. So we did that. We supported local.
Mr. Sub, California sandwiches.
You should go.
There you go. There's my shout outs.
Should we end that segment?
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's time.
A little news we can use?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Because this news you can use, I think, inspired the conversation of this episode.
It most certainly did, yes. I may not know my figure skaters, but that doesn't mean I'm not eligible for interviews. Yeah. Toronto Star reached out to me, just saying, they're great people. I often get calls from journalists just trying to give them some insight on some stories. And this one was really cool because it featured myself and 2-time guest of the show, Christopher Daniel Mulder.
I know. I love that.
And we didn't even know. It was unbeknownst.
both talked to you separately.
Yeah. So the synergy's there. Maybe the Toronto Star watches our podcast. Maybe not. But if you're looking for sponsorship, Toronto Star.
Yeah, there we go.
Talk to us.
Listen, I got a whole... This hat doesn't have... I don't have a hat yet.
That head needs a hat. I feel like it's a telethon.
Yeah.
We need your donations. Call in. Give Joey...
We're going to put the number right here.
Hello, Joey speaking. All right, jokes aside, I was in the Toronto Star article about a week back, and it was all about the hidden costs that buyers have to be aware of.
Right.
And we went through a plethora of them, so we thought, why not expand?
100%.
Yeah.
This is something that we always, this is almost the very first thing we talk about with new potential clients.
Yes.
And we walk through this process. So it makes sense to put it in a podcast.
Yeah. We cover like very high level things like down payment, deposit, what's the difference. We go over legal fees, but then we also have this category with all these other ones such as adjustments and closing costs and moving and yada, yada, yada. And we're going to get into all that this episode.
Yes. Yeah.
You can put your pad and paper away. You don't need to take notes. Class is not in session because if you're working with us, you will get a very long form email that covers all of this.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And a nice summary at the end. So you'll get all the information and then you'll be able, if you wanted to, just scroll to the bottom and see what the deal is.
Get a nice summary of what's in store for you.
Yeah.
And if you're not working with us, this is a great time to plug that you can like, subscribe, comment, and share with your friends.
Yes.
You don't have to work with us. Just share our podcast.
Yeah. If you don't work with us, share our podcast.
Yeah.
If you do, also, it would be helpful if you share our podcast.
Yeah. What do the kids say? Oh my God. Don't gatekeep. Don't gatekeep.
What do the kids say?
Kids say that. Like, oh, I'm not going to gatekeep. This place has good coffee. I'm like, why would you keep that to yourself? It's a thing. Gatekeep.
All right, yeah. So don't gatekeep.
Don't gatekeep. Share us with your friends.
Don't gatekeep the same way we're not going to gatekeep these hidden fees.
Oh, maybe you don't need a hat, man. The ideas are just flowing right out of here. All right, let's get into it. Let's have some fun.
Let's do it. So the first thing I'm going to say is that this is a podcast that we're going to do. It's all about getting you up to closing. So budgeting for the day of closing, pretty much. There are other costs that you're going to want to budget for, and that's for after the fact.
That's right.
So we're not going to touch on those today. Maybe we can do another podcast on it.
Yeah.
If it's if we feel it's fit.
Life after closing.
Episode
That's 87.
the episode name for it. We should have started with that one. No, but we're specifically just talking about what gets you to closing, other than just the purchase price.
That's right. And we're going to start with
land transfer tax.
Love it.
Probably the most notable one that most people know about. The first thing I'm going to bring up is Toronto is a very specific place to get charged with land transfer tax because you don't get hit once, you get hit twice.
That's right.
So if you literally double the land transfer taxes. It's a tiered system. How it's based off the purchase price.
Yeah.
And so, but I would say it's around 2-3% is where that price is. There's actually a calculator that we're going to link to in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll put it in there for sure.
So if you were looking at the general budget of what you're looking to purchase, you can just plug in the number and see what comes out the other end.
It'll pump it out. Yeah.
So on an example, let's talk about a $1 million home.
Yeah.
In Ontario, the land transfer tax is $16,475.
Yeah. So if you're buying anywhere in Ontario, expect to pay that.
That's the very first one.
But if you want to be privileged enough to buy in Toronto,
yes, you get the municipal on top of it, and that is another $16,475
for a grand total of
$32,950. Yeah, it's a blast. But mind you,
it's a blast.
It's mind you, if you're a first time home buyer, you get some rebates.
Bum, 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 bum.
Those rebates also don't come in form of you have to pay it all and then get rebated after the fact. They just deduct it.
Yeah, they changed that. That used to be the case.
Right.
You had to pay the whole thing up front, and the city had to process it, yada, yada, yada. But because we're a town of efficiency, we've scrapped that altogether, and you get your rebate right at source, so you don't have to pay that amount.
Which makes a ton of sense.
Yes.
Also, this is cash that you need in your hand on closing.
Land transfer tax cannot be financed.
No. This is a budget that if you have a down payment, you got to subtract this land transfer tax from it.
And you could go to a shady uncle who's got some private lending money, maybe, sure. But the point we're trying to make is no banks will add this into your mortgage. You have to have this cash on hand.
Yeah.
And that's why we bring it to you nice and early, so you make sure that, maybe you want to buy $1 million house, but you also have the extras to go along with it to ensure you can close on said house and not get sued by the seller.
Totally. Yeah. I love that. And the other thing I'm going to bring up is that this is a one and done incentive.
Yeah.
So you can't not own a home for 4 years and then it resets. It's if you've used it once, that's it. You can't look forward to it on the next purchase. Yeah.
And I also want to say, spouses, be careful if you're married or non-married. So me and Adriana had this specific example where I had owned property, she had not, and we were unmarried. Mm-hmm. So when we bought our first place together, unmarried, she was still eligible for the rebate.
Right.
Had we gotten married and then we bought a place,
different story.
Two became one. And therefore, no rebate for Adriana S.
Pay attention to your timelines.
Yeah. See, I worked in a little Spice Girls there because she loves the Spice Girls.
Beautiful. So to talk about just the numbers that are in the rebate, the cap in Toronto is 8,475. Mm-hmm. So that's the max. That's the absolute max you can get back.
That's right.
It's a big chunk of change, and cuts it down pretty intensely. But if you're buying in like Vaughan or anywhere else in the GTA, your cap is 4,000.
Yeah, and that's I kind of wish more GTA cities outside of Toronto had a double land transfer tax, because if you think about it, if you literally buy one street north of Steeles, you only pay one land transfer tax.
Yeah.
Whereas one street south, I get it, you're in two different cities and you get two different municipalities and all that other fun stuff. But yeah, I think we'll see what happens. But I think more GTA.
We're gonna make sure we clip you saying that you wish other GTA properties got hit with double land transfer tax.
You know what really grinds my gears? Yeah. Do it.
Yeah.
Try it. One other note I want to make about land transfer tax. If you're buying in the city of Toronto, probably as a first timer, this is not your scenario. But if you're spending more than $3 million, you also get hit with the luxury tax.
Right.
It's a new tax that was introduced about a year or two ago.
This is a new piece of the puzzle you have to think about.
Yeah. We're not going to emphasize it too much because I don't think many first timers are spending $3 million. Unless they're Morgan Riley and Tessa Virtue. Did I say that right? I did. I did.
More backlash to come soon.
Actually, I'll squeeze in one more bonus under this point because I was trying to find a good topic to squeeze this into. But if you're buying with less than 20% down, so now we can go up to 1.5 million and put less than 20% down.
Right.
But keep in mind that you are still paying a CMHC insurance premium.
Right.
That you could roll into your mortgage. But there is a PST, or I guess it's called HST now.
Right.
A harmonized sales tax that you have to pay at closing at cash. It's not a large sum. It's, a couple $1,000s in the grand scheme of things. But we put it in our kind of report that we send you when we start working together. But it's just important to keep that in mind that if you are doing a CMHC mortgage, you're going to have to pay the HST.
Yes, it's not just additional to your mortgage. There's, again, cash on hand you're going to need.
Yeah, cash on hand. Love it. All right.
All right. Shall we get into legal fees?
Yes.
So this is an interesting one. This definitely absolutely something you need to budget for. Mm-hmm. The usual conversation, just for a quick synopsis, is if you set aside, I would say $2,000, maybe $2,500, will get you in a good place. You likely covering your legal fees.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a very complex situation.
Well, I would also. Okay, I think that's a fair number to use. I would say for a purchase price under $2 million, having $2,500 allotted aside is a good amount.
Okay, I like
and
that.
I'll tell you why that changes as you kind of get into it. But.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's the general. But this is an all-encompassing thing. If you can actually go and ask your lawyer of what the layout looks like in terms of. It's one thing I wanted to bring up too. Let's start with this. The actual things that get charged. Title searches is one thing that they charge as a fee. Couriers and admin costs as another. Mortgage registration fees are another. This is kind of the laundry list of things that they kind of all encompass in that $2,000 to $2,500.
Yeah, exactly. It's all included in that. Basically, is what you're saying.
Exactly. I will say a lot of people are afraid to speak to lawyers any more than they absolutely have to because they fear that every time they hop on the phone or get an email back, they're getting charged for it. In situations like real estate lawyers, a lot of times there's flat fees that are along with things. So don't be afraid to ask for whatever questions you need to ask about the clarity and what you're being charged, and if you need that clarity, go for it.
Go for it. Yeah, exactly. And I'll say this: a lot of the lawyers we work with and the ones we refer our clients to use, they're super friendly. Mm-hmm. They're not like they're stuck up, typical lawyer-esque where it's like, I'm charging you by the minute, you're paying for every fax. They're there to help you and they're to support you right to the very end. So use them because you're paying for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like that.
What I want to say where that $2,500 amount may shift and change is title insurance, which you're going to get into in the next one.
Right.
That amount varies based on the purchase price. So your lawyer is not necessarily charging you more for their services if you're buying a more expensive home. It's just that title insurance amount.
So it's so funny that you bring that up because as I was going through these notes, I was adding that in and I was like, you know what, I'm going to delete that and we're going to make that. Yeah, totally.
Good. Yeah.
But 100%, you're absolutely right. So the next one is title insurance, which we're going to get into.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, just one last thing with kind of lawyer fees and stuff of that nature. if you're buying a condo, you have to get a status certificate. Say 9.9 times out of 10, the seller is the one who pays for the status certificate. But if your closing is longer than 90 days from the status certificate was produced, the banks are going to want you to get a new one.
Right.
And that's usually your cost to get. It's a very small cost. It's like $130 tax in. However, if you have to rush order it, it can get between $400 to $600.
Yeah. I've done a couple rush orders.
Yeah.
They're not. They're just money grabs.
100%, because they've already produced it. They're just changing like 2 digits anywhere. But hey, everyone's got a mortgage to pay, so I don't want to get clipped into that category. Yeah. I've already challenged Woodbridge to charge double the transfer tax. I'm not going to start getting attacked by property management companies here. But yeah, just be aware of that. If you're closing, especially in the shifting market that we're in, as closings become longer for condos, you may have to order another one, and just want to squeeze that
an extra little expense
cost in there. Yeah,
totally.
For those keeping track at home.
Yeah, because if you're budgeting for $2,000, $2,500, and then all of a sudden you need, here's another 500. But yeah.
And can we just say, like, another 500 is very normal. It's like, I don't care how much you plan this out. There's always like, ooh, another $500 there, a couple thousand there. It just
cushion is important. Cushion is important.
Yeah.
You can plan as much as you possibly can, but even at we're going to get through this, but like adjustments can. Yeah, that's a whole piece that can't get promised until the very end.
Tackle title insurance, because that's a whole thing on its own.
Yeah. So title insurance. Also, you need it.
Yes, this is non-negotiable.
Can we start with that?
You can't be like, I want to skip that and save myself. No, you have to have it.
No, it's first off, it's like, okay, it's $250, $500, depending on the price of the home as well. Let's just say for something more on the average side of things, $250 to $500, and it lasts you until you sell the property and the deed changes hands. Yeah. So it's inexpensive for what you get.
Yep.
It protects you against stuff like fraud. If there's unpaid property taxes that didn't get
from
found.
the previous owner. Yeah.
Yeah. If there's zoning violations.
Think fences. That's a big one.
Right.
If your neighbor built a fence unknowingly to you on your property and you have to get it reversed, title insurance will step in and help you mitigate those costs.
Right. And I've heard nothing but good things. Whenever it does need to step in, it's just like any potential long lasting headache is just dealt with very quickly.
And this applies whether you're in a house or a condo. This is like 2 years ago. Aura Condo is a big one at the Yonge and Gerrard. There was a couple cases where people's condos got sold from underneath them. Mm-hmm. And this is something that title insurance would very much heavily come into play and correct and fix, because that's essentially mortgage and title fraud.
Right.
And so you have it for reasons like that. And even though we're bringing up fencing and zoning, you might think in a condo, well, how would that apply to me? It's for these type of examples.
Totally. Yeah. No, that's good. It's any type of property. Yeah. It's inexpensive. It insures you through your entire ownership of the property, and they're lifesavers. They can save you tens of thousands, if not more. So
say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes to the dress. The insurance dress, that is.
Okay, so let's talk about now what we were about to get into, the adjustment costs.
Yeah, I think this is the most underrated hidden cost that people don't talk about.
It's it's not frustrating. It's just knowing that it's there is you have to plan for it, because you can't. There's no way to give an answer until usually like 2 days before closing actually takes place.
Yeah. You want me to kind of explain why that is?
Go ahead.
Okay, so adjustments, as the word suggests, it's an adjustment in price. And the best example I like giving is, let's say you close in the middle of the year, right down the center, and the property tax have been paid for the entire end of the year. Well, that seller is not going to be living there for 6 months. You will be.
Right.
So you have to credit them back that amount. And that's just one example of property taxes, but it could cover a plethora of things.
Right. Maintenance fees, utility bills, anything along those lines.
Anything prepaid for the remainder of the year, you essentially have to give them the money back for.
Yeah, absolutely. So those usually get, there's an adjustment that gets sent from lawyer to lawyer a lot closer to the closing day.
Yeah, because one of the elements is they have to know what day closing is and what the readings are for certain utilities or certain taxes they may have paid. Property tax seems to be the biggest one that kind of gets talked about. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things that you have so many expenses going on. The last thing you want is to move into your place and be like, but whoa, what's this about?
Right.
So the lawyers, they get in touch and they kind of they'll have you either pay in advance or something of that nature. I closed one of my purchases like 2 days before the next property tax bill was due.
Right.
And just to save everyone the headache, I said, okay, or the lawyer said, like, just go pay it yourself. Don't even make it an adjustment.
Right.
And that just kind of saved everyone one last thing to worry about. But property taxes, that's the big thing.
Yeah, I like it. They're adjustment costs. That's a big thing to plan for.
Yeah.
Home insurance.
Another one that doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah. So home insurance, I would say that's right on the line of things to plan for the after. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, so let's call it this. If you're buying something like a 1-bed condo, something simple, you're looking at probably like $40-$60 a month ish in and around. Yeah. And you need it. If you're financing your property, you need it. And you should have it really in general.
Just to protect you.
Especially in a condo with water, in any case, really.
Yeah.
But I will say, recently I just switched insurance companies to Aviva, and Aviva started doing first and last month's rent. And I was actually speaking to the insurance broker. Sometimes they do you have to pay 3 months in advance.
Explain that to me.
Aviva.
No, I'm confused though.
It's like a first and last month.
So they give you a policy. You have to pay the first and last to make sure it's in place.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So that's a starter, right? So if you're whatever your monthly fees are going to be, it could be costly if you're all putting it all encompassing, right? So if you have auto insurance along with your home insurance that's are bundled together, all of a sudden your whatever, let's say $200-$300 payment turns into, well, I need $600 extra now
to budget for. Good point. Man, I didn't know that. Insurance is such a big one that like I often ask people like, you have this, right? And they're like, maybe kind of, sort of, but you hit on a really good point. One of the covenants or promises, it's a fancy word for promise, that you have to give the bank when you take on a mortgage is that you will insure your property, because should something happen and the damages are $500,000, you don't have to pay. If you don't have that money to pay for it, what's the bank's going to do? Right. So that now skews their investment. And so, because they're investing in the fact that you're going to be paying back and this property is going to survive and it's going to be so exciting. You know how it works. Yeah. But it's a covenant. You can't you don't only have a choice. If you're getting a mortgage, you have to have insurance.
Yes. Yeah. If you're buying it cashola, no, not necessarily. You don't necessarily have to, but it's still going to be recommended.
Yeah. Legally, no, but practically you damn well should. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next.
Yeah.
Bridge financing.
Okay.
This is a good topic of conversation.
Yeah, especially in this market that we're in. I like that you include that one.
So bridge financing is something where if you need it if you need a lump sum of money until your place sells, if you have an overlap basically from one property to the next, you might need bridge financing. And it's usually pretty decent in terms of what the cost could be. I would say so the example is, let's say you need $200,000 for 30 days at 8%. If the interest rate's at 8%, you're looking at about $1,300 in interest costs and unexpected, which is unexpected for a lot of people, right? Yeah. Not only that, but the banks need to be interested in it happening. So there could be admin fees on top of it. So $1,300 could be the loan itself plus admin fees.
That's a starting price. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But even if let's round it up to $2,000, let's talk about what that represents. Because what bridge financing is it's essentially you've sold your house, you've not closed on your current house, but you want to close on the new house. So you need someone to sprinkle large sums of money into your pocket so you can afford the new place before yours closes. Right. Now, if you don't want to do the bridge financing, where are you going to get that difference of? And it becomes really hard to try to line up closing dates, especially with kids and schools and calendars and all that stuff. So bridge financing does allow you the convenience of staying put, closing on the new one, and then slowly moving into the
right. It causes it's a lot of if you don't have a place to stay, because maybe you do, right? Yeah. To avoid it, which is if you can
close on your place first. Go to an Airbnb, pack up, do all that stuff, and you're moving you're doing 3 moves in a span of 2 months. Good luck with your cortisol levels. They're going to be spiking. So yeah, bridge financing is something. It was almost like a dirty word. It wasn't really what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't like a popular option, but we've used it many times, and it's a practical tool to have when you're trying to line up a selling and a closing date. And if they don't line up, this gives you that cushion.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and you don't have to have it for a long time. You use the example of 30 days. Maybe you only need it for 7 days, so that $1,300 becomes significantly cheaper.
100%. Yeah, it could be less than that. Yeah. I mean, the last one we did was it was a 4-day. It was 3 days. Right. Yeah, it was
just to give you that cushion of you could stay in your place, close on the new one, slowly move your stuff in, and then you're done.
Then you're out of the financing.
Yeah, but this whole episode is about bringing up these little closing costs, and this is a good one to budget for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Home inspections. Yeah, it's a wild west out there.
Yeah. Also, prices have, I feel like they've increased.
100%.
Yeah, they've definitely increased. $400 and $800 for a home inspection.
I say closer to 8 is more the standard.
Yeah, especially when you're we use very credible home inspectors when we do it, and they charge for it, as well as there's additions, right? If you're doing like a thermal, thermal for it. So there's little additions that you can add onto it to make sure you're kind of covered.
Yeah,
and absolutely, 750 plus tax.
Very average.
Yeah.
You're not and be wary if someone's offering you a $200-300 home inspection. Who are they? What's their accreditation? What are they actually doing when they come through the place? Like it's be careful out there. We use Carson Dunlop, we use Pillar to Post, and we use, why am I drawing a blank here with the third one? Baker Street.
Baker Street.
The three of those are pretty knowledgeable, and we give those options to our clients saying, call all three, see who you like the best and hire one of them.
Totally.
But yeah, that's another one that kind of, it's not part of your closing cost. It's almost a cost to get to closing.
Yep.
And I would say with home inspections, like you could use 800 as a good estimate on a conservative level, but you might have to do 3 inspections before you find the house that's yours.
Right. That's the other thing too, right?
Okay, we're not in a bidding war market at the moment, but when we were, it was quite common to see that happen where...
Within the first 7 days before the bidding war date came, you'd be bringing inspectors out.
Yeah, and you can get to a couple thousand relatively quickly with home inspections.
Totally.
Yeah.
I want to add condos, they don't get used as much.
Yeah, I think I've only done like 2 my entire life representing buyers.
Yeah, most of the big mechanical pieces are normally a part of the condo fees. Like they're part of your maintenance fees.
Condo corporation's responsible for the upkeep and maintenance of them. But you can still do it in a condo. Don't feel like you can't. And if there's some telltale signs, there might be water by the windows coming in or whatever you see of certain nature, certain things you want to point out, do it. Just give yourself the peace of mind. Yeah. You are allowed to do it. Might not be popular, but go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Moving costs, utility setups.
Yeah, that varies.
Yeah.
I've seen movers. Movers is really the wild, wild west.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quotes are all over the place.
All over the map. Yeah. I feel like painters and movers are the two like variables where
it's Wild West is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
You call one and it's 50% of the price you just called.
Yeah.
And it feels when you call them that they're just taking shots in the dark.
Yeah.
Like, $2,000.
You say yes?
Yeah. Okay.
Done deal. Yeah.
Utility connection fees too. Yeah. There's some utility providers will charge an extra $50, $150, set up hydro or your gas or whatever the case is.
Yeah. And then deposits if you're going to move into a condo.
Elevator deposits.
Yep. Couple $100. You could get those back as long as you don't damage to the place. But
yeah,
think about it. We've said a couple $100, a couple $1,000 many times in this episode. So you add all those couple thousands up, it could be another 5-10K.
Right. Yeah.
Now,
that's a good point.
We're not going to get into the cost after closing, but furniture ain't cheap. Couches. This could be the difference between getting, the Restoration Hardware dream couch and like the IKEA college couch because you spent all this extra in your budget. And I can't stress how important it is to have these tough conversations before you start looking. So okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared.
Totally.
I got this.
Totally agree. Get your finances in order. And then you're also not over budgeting and like pinching yourself that much when you're planning for stuff.
That's right.
It's a lot more, you can come at it very level.
You can have some fun. You don't have to be so stressed about the money because you've already kind of accounted for that.
Yep.
That's good. Why don't you give us a quick roundup? What's kind of a rough range to expect if you're budgeting, just high level?
So basically, all in all, you want to be about 3 to 5%.
Yeah.
Pretty much is of the purchase price.
Of the purchase price.
Is what you want to budget for.
Yeah. So $1 million, you're about $30,000 to $50,000 to have that aside, and that should cover the 8 points we just kind of brought up.
Yep.
Of course, we will give you again a nice breakdown, and we're happy to revisit it as things change. Maybe you spent 1.1, maybe you did a little bit more expensive of the home inspection. We could always keep tweaking the numbers until we have a really clear picture of what it's all going to cost you.
Totally.
Yeah.
I like it.
Couple benefits people can use. I think an episode, 44?
Episode 44. Yeah. So in terms of, if you're a first time home buyer and you're listening to this and planning, listen to our episode 44. We'll tag it because we talk about all what was 6 but now 5 first time home buyer incentives.
Right.
So you get all your and you get the scratch out is right on the thumbnambell. So
I forgot about that. The government changed it up on us
as we were putting it out.
Yeah. Went live to air. I like that. Cool. And then one thing to note is like even after all this planning on your day of closing, when you're sitting with your lawyer now it's done virtually. I don't even know if you go into a law office anymore. But whenever you have that chat with your lawyer, they're going to go over, a good lawyer is going to go over everything with you step by step. And so you have one final chance to ask your questions and to make sure you're informed with what this purchase is going to cost you.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I like it.
I think that's a pretty
good wrap up. So plan for 3 to 5% of the purchase price as extra cash you're going to need on hand.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to link our episode 44 about the first time home buyer incentives. And if you have any other questions.
Yeah. Or if you're looking to purchase real estate.
Or that.
We're not just podcasters.
Yes.
We are
Believe it or not.
Yep. Let these pretty faces fool you. We're also successful realtors in the city of Toronto. Any Joey salutes? Any Swan salutes you want to give out?
My elbows are up.
Ooh.
For Mr. Sub. And for California sandwiches.
Oh, I like that. We should, you know what we should do? We should get like, you know how all these signs are starting to come out for the politicians?
Yeah.
We should put signs of which restaurants we support.
Okay.
Like we back Mr. Sub.
Yeah.
the party of subs is who we support.
I like that.
Yeah. It's a fun fact. I was driving through Midtown today and like all the conservative and liberal and NDP signs are starting to come up. You're going to notice, so our election is called, that was news we should use. We missed opportunity here.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to the polls, people. If you're listening this long, we're voting for our prime minister because I don't even want to know. I don't know. Whatever. We're here where we are. And we're voting for a new prime minister. I think it's April 28th.
28th, I think.
28th or 27th. But how this ties into real estate is you might want to cautiously plan till after the election, and it's got nothing to do with politics. When you have all those signs up, your for sale sign gets lost in the sea of I've always, this is just an anecdotal.
Yeah.
This is just my own experience, but I know that I tend to see like activity drop when it's
that's so funny
when a political campaign is going on.
That's such a funny thing to think about.
Yeah, it's an indicator. It's going to impact things slightly. Yeah. So okay, I like that. We're saluting that. I'm going to salute Be Ready or Bready, whatever you want to call it.
Be Ready.
I call it Be Ready.
I like it. I'll call it Be Ready with you.
Be Ready. That's like a cool rapper name.
Yeah.
Be Ready. And I make bogos. Yeah, salute, Ready. Everything's going to be in the show notes. And I'll also link to, I'm going to tell you a pro tip. So the Toronto Star article I had one free article to read a month. I don't have a subscription to the Star. So then I got paywalled. But I used my VPN.
Oh, and undid the paywall?
Yep.
I didn't know you can do that.
I just moved to another country. I read the article, I printed it out so I could reference what I needed for the show notes and came back to Canada. So if you're ever stuck in a paywall, a good VPN can help you.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's my tip of the week. Episode 86.
Episode 86.
Thanks for watching. Or listening. Thanks for listening to the Toronto Livings Real Estate Podcast. You could find more information on how we work over at TorontoLivings.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter to get price reports from over 150 different neighborhoods in the city each and every month.
If you got any value, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you made it this far, thanks for listening.